Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaurav Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaurav Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaurav Bhakta Vrinda
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalaam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama
Rama
Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading session. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, Chapter 3, Lord Chaitanya's stay at Advaita Acharya's house. So Mahaprabhu is there and Advaita Acharya is serving him prasadam. So we are looking at, or so far we have seen the various preparations that were served by Advaita Acharya to the deities, to Lord Krishna, on 3 separate plates, one on metal plate, 2 on banana leaf plates. And we saw all the different preparations, the sweets, milk sweets, and rice, and various sabjis, and dal, like that, cakes, different cakes. Then, after making the offering, Advaita Acharya performed the arati, and then he gave rest to the deities. Then he invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu to come inside the room to take their prasadam. And Nityananda Prabhu called Mukunda and Haridas also to come. And what did Mukunda say? He said, "My dear sir, I have something to do that's important, right? I have not finished. I was doing some work and I have not finished it. So I will come after I have finished that. So meanwhile, you go ahead. You go and take your prasad like that. Then we'll do the next one. So 62 was when Mukunda was called for, he submitted, "My dear sir, I have something to do that is not yet finished. Later I shall accept the prasadam. So you two Prabhus should now please enter the room." Text 63. Haridasa kohe mui papishta adhama bahire ekamushti pache korimu bhojana. Haridas Thakur said, "I am the most sinful and lowest among men. Later I shall eat one palmful of prasadam while waiting outside." So this is the natural humility of Srila Haridas Thakur, because he was born in a Yavana family. So he considered himself untouchable. So he wouldn't go into Jagannath temple. He would just stay. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arranged for him to stay at Siddha Bakula, where he would just sit and chant all day. And Mahaprabhu would personally come and see him. Uh, of course, this is the humility of Vaishnava, but we all understand from the scripture that a Vaishnava is even superior to Brahmana. What to speak? So, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, this is within the Varnashram system. Vaishnava is transcendental to the Varnashram system also, because Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya are what? Within the modes. Someone who is in goodness is called Brahmana. Somebody who is in passion is called Kshatriya, like that. But what about a Vaishnava? Vaishnava is transcendental to the modes. So he is even superior to a Brahmana. Within the Varnashram system, within the four Varnas, a Brahmana is best. But a Vaishnava is even superior to the Brahmana. And Haridas Thakur is a Vaishnava. In fact, Mahaprabhu made him the Acharya of the holy name. That means who is Acharya? Acharya is he who can teach others. So Mahaprabhu made Haridas Thakur the teacher, right? How to teach the world to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra by his personal example. Haridas Thakur was made the Nam Acharya by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So obviously he is a Vaishnava. So a Vaishnava is superior to anyone else. So how he can become untouchable? Untouchable also is within the material realm only. Just as you have Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, then you have the Chandalas, right? The untouchables. So how a Vaishnava can become a Yavana or untouchable? It's not possible. But nevertheless, according to the, just so as not to create disturbance in society, uh, we will see Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, because of serving the king, Muslim king, they considered themselves also untouchable. So they wouldn't go into a Jagannath temple to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. They would stay outside with Haridas Thakur at Siddhabakula. But of course, it's the natural humility of the Vaishnava. A Vaishnava never feels what to speak of going and sitting and eating with the Lord. Right? The Lord said, Haridas, you come. But Haridas Thakur said, no, no, no. I will stay outside. I'm an untouchable. After you finish eating, if you give me a morsel, a palmful of prasadam, I will honor that. Like that. So Haridas Thakur didn't go inside either. Mukunda made an excuse. I have some important thing to finish. I haven't finished it. How can I leave it in the middle and come and take prasad? I'll finish it and I'll come. Meanwhile, you to go. And Haridas Thakur said, I am the most sinful and lowest among men. Later I shall eat one palmful of prasadam while waiting outside. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although the Hindus and Muslims lived together in a very friendly manner, still there were distinctions between them. The Muslims were considered Yavanas or low-born, and whenever a Muslim was invited, he would be fed outside of the house. So they would be fed outside of the house. Although personally called by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu to take prasadam with them, still, out of great humility, Haridas Thakur submitted, I shall take the prasadam outside of the house. So that is the significance of outside, as Srila Prabhupada explained earlier, right? Because even though they would live friendly, they would talk to each other and, but still, because of their practices, they eat meat and things like that. So because of their practices, they wouldn't be, even when they're served food, prasadam, they would not be allowed to come inside the house to eat. They would be served outside. So that is why Haridas Thakur is saying, I will stay outside and I will take prasadam. Because he considered himself a very low-born person. Although Haridas Thakur was an exalted Vaishnava, accepted, this point I didn't tell you, Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya would perform this Shraddha for his ceremony. Once a year you do Shraddha for your ancestors. Who is Advaita Acharya? Advaita Acharya was the leader of all the Vaishnavas and of course the Brahmanas. He was recognized, very well respected as the Acharya, a Brahmana in Navadvip. And when Advaita Acharya was performing, holding a festival at his house, all the Brahmanas of Navadvip would come and they would consider it an honor to be part of Advaita Acharya's festival. So now the system, the tradition is in such a program, in the Shraddha festival ceremony, we also read in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Shraddha, you feed all the Brahmanas, you should feed. So the most, just something like in Rajasya Yagya, the most exalted person is offered the first puja, Agra Puja. So they were considering who is fit to receive the first puja. The most exalted person would get it. So then there it was everyone unanimously, everyone said Lord Krishna is the most exalted. And there were all these demigods and everyone present. And they said Lord Krishna should receive Agra Puja. Similarly, here in Advaita Acharya's festival, of course, there was no question. It's not like who should be. Directly, Advaita Acharya offered the first plate of prasadam of that feast. After the whole, ceremony, he offered that feast plate to Haridas Thakur, who socially was considered to be a Yavana, a lowborn. In fact, he couldn't, just now we read, he cannot even come inside the house. Yavanas were not even fed inside the house, they would be fed outside. Untouchables, they would also be given, but they would be given outside. They are not allowed inside the house. And Advaita Acharya is not only calling him inside, he's giving the highest seat, right? The chief guest. And with great honor, he's worshipping him. He's giving him prasadam. This was outrageous to the caste Brahmanas. But Advaita Acharya was making a statement. Who is exalted? Simply by being a Brahmana, are you exalted? Even higher than a Brahmana is a Vaishnava. And also, there are so many points can be derived from here. You're not a Brahmana by birth. Janmana jayate Shudra samskarat bhaved dvija. By samskara, you become a dvija. But even then, by samskara, if you become a proper Brahmana, still, a Vaishnava is superior to such a Brahmana. And who is a Vaishnava now? Shuddha Bhakta. Who is Ananya Bhakta? Ananyascintayanto mam, not Ananyascintayanto. What is that? Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhakti uttama. This is Uttama Bhakti. Anyone who is doing this Uttama Bhakti is a Uttama Bhakta. So, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma adi anavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam. In short, it means 24/7 you are doing direct devotional service to Krishna without expecting anything in return. Was Haridas Thakur doing that? He was chanting constantly Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Continuously he was doing. Who can be who would be more qualified to be called a Shuddha Bhakta than Haridas Thakur? And a Vaishnava is superior to a Brahmana. So, and this, by his actions, Advaita Acharya was actually making this bold statement to society. A Vaishnava is superior to a Brahmana. So, that is Haridas Thakur. So here, out of his humility, great humility, Haridas Thakur, considering himself to be a Yavana, he wouldn't go inside. He said, I will take prasadam outside. So Srila Prabhupada is saying here, although Haridas Thakur was an exalted Vaishnava, accepted as such by Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Nonetheless, this is another important. Then your question should be here. Yeah, he's a Vaishnava and he's authorized by the Supreme Lord himself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya accepted him. So what is the problem? Then why he is not going? In order not to disturb social tranquility. See, we accept the statement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as such because we know he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But even when Mahaprabhu was personally present, there were so many, especially when in the Grihastha ashram, so many people were envious of him, offensive. So, so as not to disturb them. Because what is the ultimate goal? The goal is not to prove that you are wrong and we are right. That's not the whole purpose. The whole idea, Mahaprabhu's mission is to somehow or other get them specifically to chant Hare Krishna. That is Mahaprabhu's, because if you chant Hare Krishna, like we were reading in the purport, Srimad Bhagavatam purport this morning for you, that about Parashuram we were reading. When Lord Parashuram killed all the 21 times all the Kshatriyas on the earth, he actually went and, atoned for it. He performed a sacrifice. He performed a sacrifice to Lord Vasudev, and he distributed all the land to all the priests there. And when he completed finally that sacrifice, he took a bath, avabhrita snana. Then he became free from all the sins, it is said there, right? And then now he was shining. And then in that purport, Srila Prabhupada said, so however great you may be, if you commit sins, you must atone for them. You must atone for them. So Lord Parashuram, even though he is the Supreme Lord, he's setting an example to the world that if you commit, it does not matter who you are, even if you are an incarnation. If you commit a sinful activity, you must atone for it. That is the message coming from there. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, so everyone must perform yajna, because knowingly or unknowingly, everyone is doing sinful activities. What type of yajna can we do in Kali Yuga? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Simply by chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this is the Sankirtan Yajna, you will be relieved from all sinful reactions. You will become free from all sinful reactions. So similarly, here, so Mahaprabhu's mission is to somehow or other get people to chant this Hare Krishna. If they chant, then they'll become free from their sins. And then when you become, when your sins are removed, what will happen? And of course, you have the association. Mahaprabhu is himself preaching, his devotees are there. You are getting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from them. Then tesham twantagatam yesham twantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam yesham tu antagatam papam. Papam becomes nil. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta. Now they become free from duality. Bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Then now they can start doing devotional service with determination. So somehow or other, the Lord wants everyone to chant Hare Krishna. This is his mission, by through trick or treat, one way or the other. Let them take to Krishna consciousness, because that will actually relieve them from all their sufferings. So therefore, whatever works, right? So that's why Mahaprabhu took sannyas. If he had, he could have logically through scriptures proved to them, but not everyone accepts it, isn't it? It is said, but still they have their own opinions. They don't. You have different types of philosophers, right? And you have the atheists. They'll say we don't believe, like the Buddhists. They'll say we don't take your Vedas as authority. Then, but Mahaprabhu's compassion is such, he wants to trap those people also. Mayavadis and Buddhists and voidists and atheists, everyone, they all should take to Krishna consciousness so that they can be relieved. So therefore, even though the Supreme Lord himself accepted Haridas Thakur as a Vaishnava, what is Srila Prabhupada saying? So as not to disturb the social tranquility. So the social understanding is those who are low born, they have their separate communities because of their practices, right? Who is a Chandala? Dog eater. He kills dogs and he cooks them and he eats them. This is not a pure thing to do, right? It's impure to do that. Killing, it's a very low consciousness. Killing dogs and eating their meat, cooking and eating their meat. So they have their separate communities where they do that, but they cannot come and mix with, uh, you know, those who are especially eating together and things like that. They can eat. It's not like they're not allowed, but even in Mahabharata we see, right? When we see Draupadi's wedding, there were separate arrangements. All the Brahmanas, they had a separate gallery. All the Kshatriyas, they had a separate gallery. All the Vaishyas had a separate. Shudras, a separate gallery. They were all, and they're happy. They're sitting with their type of people, and also it is, there's clear. Uh, that is Varnashram system. The society is divided into Varnas and Ashrams. This whole idea, this modern idea of we are all, everyone is equal, everyone is the same with no variety, this is actually not scientific at all. That is only possible on the spiritual platform. When you come to the spiritual platform, I'm a spirit soul or I'm a devotee, yes, then everyone is equal. Only on that level. But still, as long as you're in this body, you have to follow the you have to follow the systems for the smooth um, um, dealings in society, isn't it? Everything is nicely organized. It's like you have division of labor. We see in the honeybees, if you have studied or see, we have some information of the honeybees, apiculture. They live in societies. Bees have their societies. They have this is in nature. It's not like some fanatic person has just created this system and this is not nice and this is not fair. No, it's not like that. Things actually move very smoothly when there is division, isn't it? And it's clear also in their minds, oh, these are my duties, and there is no disharmony as such. So among in honeybees, you will see there's the worker bees, there's the queen bee, and there are the drones, and each one has its particular duties, and they just go and do that. And it is such a nice society, right? They come and they build huge hives, and they take care of, they have responsibilities. Who's going to take care of the babies, the eggs, everything? And they're not even, human beings, what to speak of being brahmanas, and they know what they're supposed to do. So division of labor, having divisions, this is actually scientific. Putting everyone in the same box and saying that everyone should know everything, what is this? Everyone won't know everything. Some people are good at something, other people are good at other things. So let those who are good at something, let them do their thing, give them the facility, and let others do that. And then the collective result of the contribution of all different people, it becomes like a nice garland, right? You have so many different flowers. You have roses, you have lilies, and you have, pom poms, and then now you bring them all together, and it becomes a beautiful garland. So that's why it is there in the system. This is there in the Vedic culture on the bodily platform, and everyone is in the bodily platform, by the way. We are trying to come out of the bodily platform. And if you sincerely follow this Varnashram system, it will actually help you come out of the bodily platform. Yes, it will, because it brings you to the mode of goodness. When you come to the mode of goodness, Sattvat Sanjayate Jnanam. In the mode of goodness, there is knowledge. What is that knowledge? Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body. I am a spirit soul. If you live according to the Vedic system, you will get this knowledge that I am not this body. I am a spirit soul. Right? So, this system in society is not bad. Problem is when someone selfish comes in and tries to cash on the uh, on the existing system, and he tries to, grab the most for himself, exploit others, and take the position of the enjoyer himself. Then the problem comes, and that is what has happened with the caste brahmanas. So anyway, coming back here, uh, although Haridas Thakur was an exalted Vaishnava, in order not to disturb social tranquility, the system is there in place, right? This is how the untouchables, they are served prasadam. So Yavanas, they are served prasadam. And Haridas Thakur did not want to disturb that system. Externally, in this body, he was born from such a family, and of course, as a Vaishnava, he had that natural humility. So he did not want to disturb social tranquility. Therefore, he humbly kept himself in the position of a Muslim outside the jurisdiction of the Hindu community. Therefore, he proposed to take prasadam outside the house. Although he was in an exalted position and equal to other great Vaishnavas, he considered himself a papishta, a most sinful man, and adhama, lowest among men. Although a Vaishnava may be very advanced spiritually, he keeps himself externally humble and submissive. So many lessons to learn here. What is the mood of a Vaishnava? That is also important. Oh, just because I am recognized, so I claim the exalted position? No, Vaishnava wouldn't do that. He would take the humble position. Sometimes, in order to teach the disciple or the followers, a Vaishnava may do that, because ignorant disciples. I was just listening yesterday to His Holiness Satswarup Maharaj's memories of Srila Prabhupada, and Maharaj was talking about the initial days in New York, how Srila Prabhupada would sit on the same mat on the same level as the students. Like when he's giving class, he's sitting on the same, not a high, thick mat or anything, same mat, and students are also sitting, and he's giving class. Now, the ignorant students may think we are equal because we are sitting on the same level. Does the Vaishnava have to lose anything if the students are thinking like that? He doesn't have to lose anything. But is it good for the students? No. Otherwise, why Arjun says, Shishyaste ham shadi mam tvam prapannam? If he, as long as you're thinking you're equal to the spiritual master, knowledge will not flow. Knowledge will not flow, because you'll be arguing, because you feel you also know, and you go back and forth, back and forth. There won't be any conclusion. There won't be transfer of knowledge. But when you surrender to the spiritual master, that means you give him a higher position and you take a lower down. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pranipatena. Right? You have to become submissive. And sevaya, rendering service. By doing this, then the knowledge is transferred. So, for the sake of the disciples, to teach them, because unless, see, especially with Srila Prabhupada, and other times also, right? Because all of us, we are, I don't know, I don't think we are in any better position than the devotees in the initial days in New York, because we have been trained in this modern education system where, we are all equal, and, we have all these secular ideas in our minds, isn't it? So that natural submissiveness and humility, when you see a sadhu and those things, we have to be taught. I can tell for myself, right? So when somebody told me, then, oh, really, is it like this? I'm supposed to bow down. It was not just natural that I just walked in and I see a sadhu and I would bow down. It didn't happen like that. But when I saw other devotees doing, or some devotees said you should do like this, that's how I learned. And when there is no other devotees, there is just the teacher, then he has to tell you, right? So if they gave him, the teacher, the same position as everyone else, the same plate as everyone else, and talking like friends, the teacher has nothing to lose, but the disciple won't make progress. So in those cases, a Vaishnava may demand that no, you should sit on the lower place, I will sit here, I should be given. He doesn't need that. But to teach the disciple, sometimes you will see that. But otherwise, a Vaishnava like Haridas Thakur, he doesn't demand, right? Our gurus, many of our gurus, they are not allowed in Jagannath temple. They stay outside. They send all their disciples to take darshan in Jagannath temple when they go for Puri Parikrama. They stay outside and they send all the disciples inside. And Indian body disciples are allowed, they go. And then they say, I'm a fallen soul, I'm not allowed inside. So Haridas Thakur's mood is like that. This is the humility of a Vaishnava. But for others, for us who's seeing, now just because the Vaishnava is doing that, so, oh yes, the Vaishnava is, uh, you know, because he's born in a Mlecha family, so therefore he's low. Can you think like that? No way. Vaishnava is more exalted than anyone else, even the Brahmanas. So with that, I will stop here. I have to go to Mangalarti. I started going to the temple. Earlier, I was doing at home, but I don't know. I got in one day, the other day when there was no internet, so I couldn't attend Mangalarti live from the temple. So I said, "Oh, no internet. How? What will it? I'll just walk to the temple." And I loved it so much. I said, "No, I'll just go to the temple and I'll come back and then I'll do at home." So that's why I have to end here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. I will see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.